Well, how do we get to that place where we despise our inheritance that much? How is it that we get so involved in what we're doing that we don't care about what it is that where we're going? How is it that we get distracted and we veer off course and we end up in the ditch of life? How is it that we got here? See, I don't think people choose to get off course and fall into a ditch. I think you simply get distracted. Most of us don't choose it. We simply get distracted. You see, distracted, it's a big term right now, today's day and age, of distracted driving, right? Distracted driving, texting, phone calling ladies, makeup in the car, right? Distracted. We get distracted, and our kids are in the back seat. And so are we saying that we value that more, the text message, versus our kids? No, you see, being distracted is being pulled away from the thing that we value most to something that is less important. Being pulled away from something that we value most to something that's less important. No one would say my kids are of less value than this text message, but we get distracted. And you see, I think Esau got distracted. He got distracted by his passion and lost sight of his purpose. He got distracted by his passion and lost sight of his purpose. He was this incredible hunter. How does an incredible hunter come back famished? I think you can get so engrossed with what you're doing that you lose sight of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. He wasn't at home learning the family business. He was so busy with finding that one piece of wild game that he came back famished. All right, and let me put it a different way. If you've got kids and there's a TV show or movie on or video games, they get distracted and they get zoned in. Am I right? I mean, you can be yelling at Johnny, Johnny, Johnny. Right? And they have no idea that you're in the room. Like you could just have died and it doesn't matter. They are engrossed in it. I think he got engrossed in his passion. I mean, we do it too, right? We get distracted with the game, not wild game maybe, but the game. All right, sports fans, all of a sudden I see all of your posts up here and it's like, go Niners, 8-0. Listen, I was here before. None of you were Niners fans before. Right, and all of a sudden you are, and like there's empty seats here because they're checking out their football games. We get distracted with what our passion is, right? So distracted sometimes we get depressed, right, you Warrior fans? Right, bad week for you, huh? Broken hand, Steph Curry. It's okay, it's okay. All right, we get distracted with these things. We get distracted with our career and making money, getting the promotion. Before we are getting married and we were going to get a career so that it would help provide for our family. And now all of a sudden our family is helping build our career. We get distracted with hobbies. We get distracted with the simple things. We get distracted with our maybe just even serving here. Being here at church. You're like, what? Yeah, some of you get so distracted about serving here. You want to be noticed. You want Pastor Craig to notice your sacrifice that you forgot what your intentions were in the first place to give God glory. Some of us get distracted with all the things that we get our kids involved in. At first, it was to help build character, right? Build teamwork and help them get some friends. And now all of a sudden, it's like we think they're going to be the next Steven Strasburg winning a World Series. They're 10, right? It doesn't matter, but we lose sight and we get distracted with our passions. We forget our purpose. The second thing, he was distracted by opinions and missed opportunities. You see, I think this whole element of him being red-haired, I think there's this side, I'm looking into it, that there's this side where maybe he was a little bit different. He was a little bit different, but he did something better than everyone else, and that was hunt. And I think he was after the chase of approval. The chase of approval of his dad. You see, if it's noted in the text that his mom received this word from the Lord that the older would serve the younger, how many times do you think he grew up hearing that story around the fire? How many times have you heard those stories about the past when you were growing up? Even as your parents are elderly, you still hear them. And it's like, all right, enough, Mom, enough, Dad. It's like you can't outlive it. You can't outprove yourself in these situations, and we keep on the chase. And I think he was chasing the applause of his dad, the applause of people. Look at me. Number 3, he was distracted by his immediate wants instead of seeing long-term gain. He got distracted by a bowl of stew instead of ultimate success and wealth. We get distracted. I get distracted, right? I'm on a diet, right? Or something, I'm eating well, and all of a sudden it's like mint and chip ice cream. Oh, it's just calling me. It's calling me. Right? We get distracted with these things. We get distracted with trying to keep up with our neighbors and all of their toys and all of their gear. It's like, well, if they can afford it, then I should be able to afford it. But you also don't know the debt that they're carrying to make that happen. But we just get distracted with these immediate likes and dislikes. We get distracted with our devices. Oh my gosh, going out to eat, and we see these couples, not you, of course, on their devices, not talking to one another. And there they are, right? She's there, and she said, oh, I just want to post this scripture. I want the perfect background. Yep, no, that doesn't fit, right? And, oh yeah, I'll get a lot of likes on this, right? You're 50 years old. It doesn't matter how many likes you get on your Instagram. Why are we living for that? We get distracted with these things and we lose sight of the long-term gain that your love of your life is sitting across from you. And you're pandering to this crowd on social media. We get distracted. In my own life, I got distracted. And there's an element about myself that I prided myself on being the hardest worker. Right? Growing up in athletics, I may not be the fastest, I might not be the most talented, but I will outwork you. I will outwork you. It's how I got to be able to run a marathon or riding a 100-mile bike ride. I wasn't the fastest guy, but I was going to finish. I would outwork you. And I was creative, and I prided myself on being the hardest worker, creative guy. And if something hard had to happen, it was like, oh, ask Trent, he'll get it done. And I didn't want to let people down. So I've got this incredible family, my wife Jessica, my two daughters, Sawyer, who's 7, and Savvy, who's 5. And when she was born on May 15th, 2014, it was amazing. So honored to be able to have her come into our lives, but it was just packed. My summer was packed with craziness, and the number of tasks that were on my plate were just overwhelming. You know, I was like, I am not going to let anybody down. I will not let anybody down, and I just decided to tackle it. I was going to make it happen one way or another. And I got to the end of that summer, and I hit September, and my daughter, who's now 3 months old, and who's now kind of laughing, giggling, she wouldn't come to me. She wanted to stay with her mom. And the reality was, I hadn't been there. Sure, I was there to help change some diapers in the middle of the night. I was there for the task, but I wasn't present for the relationship. You see, I had been working for the applause of the stage rather than the applause of my two girls in their bunk beds. I got distracted. Have you been there? You see, Satan's not going to end up distracting us with things that we don't like. I bought into these lies. You see, the best lie is covered in truth. It's 97% true and maybe 3% lie. Satan's not going to tempt you with this moldy sandwich, right, off to the side. And you're like, oh, I just can't wait to have it, right? No, it's going to be the sweet Cinnabon, right? I mean, that's what we're going to go for. We get tempted with the things that we like. He's not going to tempt you with this wretched-looking person of a human being that you're going to lust after. That's not what's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to give a description of that. You can put your own wretched-looking human in your own head. We get distracted with these things. In James 1, it makes it so clear. When tempted, no one should say that God is tempting me, because God is not tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anybody with evil. Instead, we are drawn away by our own evil desires and enticed. And once desires are birthed, then it gives birth to sin. And when sin was full grown, it gives birth to death. You see, he's going to tempt you with the things that you already like, and he's just going to veer you off of course. He's going to veer you off of course rather than putting some major blockade right in the way. You see, a 3% difference going from San Francisco to New York, if you're taking a flight, you'll end up in Washington, D.C. Where has that 3% difference landed you? Where have you landed off course?